All right, we're going to try this again. Do we have audio? All right, we're going to try this again. Okay, so welcome if you are joining us right now. I have my co-host, thankfully, who's in the same building, and and she will be joining me corporeally in just a moment as we get settled in here. Yay! Yes. Okay. And we have sound. We have no idea what happened, but we'll just roll with it. The hilarious thing that you'll see in just a moment is that we decided to wear matching shirts today. Not planned.
Did you get my request?
Serendipitous. You can just have a seat. We can just do it from here. All right. There's always more than one way.
Yes.
So always have a backup plan. And let me get my document open. Okay, there we go. All right, hello. Thank you for your patience as we figured this out today. When all else fails, just get in the same room.
Yeah, look, when Lynn's not around, we just do the best we can.
It's true. So
don't watch this, Lynn. Turn it off.
I have not seen Lynn log in. So
okay, good.
So if you're just joining us, welcome to What Fortworth Reads. You will notice neither of us are Lynn. So Lynn is on a much needed, well-deserved vacation today. Hope you have fun, Lynn. And today is like library administrator Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm Jana Hill. I'm the lifelong learning manager for the library. So I head up the programming division of the library system. And today I have my friend Jenny with me.
I am Jenny Dean, and I am the librarian manager for the Central region. So I work in branch services, so I'm out in the branches all the time.
What are your branches?
So I have all of kind of east to west. So I have Clifford Crossing, I have LMA Chambly, I have Ridgely, I have Downtown Express, I have Meadowbrook, I have East Regional.
Yeah.
And Rise. I was like, I know I'm missing one because I have 7.
It's a lovely belt right across the city.
Yeah.
So
come and visit us.
Fitting because today we have belt buckle shirts on.
We didn't plan it.
This was not planned. So we got our shirt. We ordered our shirts. Mine came yesterday, and I was so excited. I have it today. If you like our belt buckle shirts, I did check. They are still available from the Fort Worth Public Library Foundation website, and they ship very quickly. So I hope you too order yourself a special edition rodeo library shirt and wear it with pride like we do. So, yay. If you were here for the first time, we attempted streaming. I talked about how we looked at the many submissions that we got this week from Instagram, what you're reading, what you recommend, and there was a thread there. And it was a thread that aligned really neatly with this week. And so today is kind of a special Galentine's Day edition of What Fortworth Reads, focusing on strong women, women's friendships, and all of those good things. We have fiction, we have nonfiction, we have fantasy, we have a little bit of everything for you today. So welcome. If you would like to share anything in the chat, you are more than welcome. And I think we'll just go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
All right. Where would you like to start?
I say, so it's if we want to talk about what we're reading right now or what we just finished, mine segues perfectly into this. So I just finished 2 books that have really strong female characters, but in really different ways. So I just read Meet the Newmans by Jennifer Niven. I love Jennifer Niven. I think she writes really beautiful, family-based fiction. But Meet the Newmans is essentially, it's about a couple, Dell and Dinah Newman, and they have this show in the 60s, been running for 12 years, called Meet the Newmans. It's like the Dick Van Dyke Show. You go into their house, and you envision her like Doris Day. She's got a halo of light around her. But then Dell is in an accident and is not available to work on the show, and so Dinah's doing it on her own, and she really like comes into her own in the 60s. It is really, really cool. And they have 2 sons who are learning like about who they are and who they love and who they want to spend their lives with. And so it just turned out, it was a really, really great book. And I love everything Jennifer Niven does, but I think this one went in a direction that I didn't expect it to. So nice. I loved it. It felt very Joni Mitchell. Yeah. Like they talk a lot about Laurel Canyon. It was lovely. And then right after that, I read Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden, which is like women taking charge in a totally different way. Because basically Debbie writes a column where she offers advice to women, and she's kind of been like taken advantage of her entire life. And so you start to see these drafts of these Dear Debbie where somebody's like, Dear Debbie, my husband hates my dinner. What do I do? And she's like, well, try something that he likes, or if he doesn't, then poison him and then just let him die. And so she's like going down this really, really wild, dark path where basically she's just like, kill your husband. So it's like a different form of women's empowerment. It was wild. But I like 2 books that I read back to back that I was like, okay, I feel empowered in very different ways by these, but I did enjoy both of them.
That's funny because I had a pretty similar experience. In December, you get all of the really great year-end lists and all of those year-end recommendations. So all of the holds I put on in December came up over the holidays and into January.
Love it.
It was like the best stream of holds coming to me. But there were a couple that I had chosen from. I think actually the last time that I was on here with Lynn and we talked about this, that we talked about the NPR kind of end of year book. I forget what they call it, but their book guide. And there were a couple of things on it that I really wanted to read, and I did, and they fit today's theme really nicely. So the first one that really segues well from Jenny's book is The Savage Noble Death of Babs Dionne by Ron Currie Jr. It was published last year of 2025. It's about a French-Canadian kind of family in Waterville, Maine, and the girl in the family who goes through some trauma in the 60s as a teenager, and how she becomes this matriarch of I'm going to try to not spoil it, but a small crime syndicate in Maine, and they get a high enough profile that they attract the attention of another crime syndicate in Quebec. So there's some crime drama, some family drama, some dark humor, and kind of these generations of strong women who show their strength in very different ways. So the matriarch kind of grandma is a powerful crime boss. But her daughters are in the military, and they're all kind of warriors in their own ways, and haunted by that. So it was a really interesting read. And then I think right before that, I read a very, very, very different book, which was Endling by Maria Reva, who is a Ukrainian American author. So this is set in 2022 Ukraine, right as the war is starting. And she is, this is a quote from the book description because I couldn't phrase it any better. A maverick biologist who works out of her mobile lab. She's a snail hunter and a hoarder of endangered snails, trying to keep these very rare snail species alive. And so she has this kind of gross mobile lab, and she's kind of a mess herself. But she's traveling around Ukraine trying to save these snails, all the while funding herself by being kind of a date at mail order bride events for American men. So it's a big feminist statement. it's a woman who's really taking a very different approach to kind of maintaining her own power in this situation. There's this whole scam. She gets involved with this whole scam where they're scamming these Americans, and it's a little bit of kind of your internet scam flavor, but also they're doing it for like political feminist reasons. So it's a complicated one. The characters are complex, and I don't remember reading of any characters quite like them. So it was a really interesting one, and highly recommended. So that's Endling by Maria Reva.
I'm going to read both of those. I love that. I also, I have to go back to the Savage Noble Death, because when you're talking about like Canadian crime, one of my favorite episodes ever of Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain. I don't know if you ever watched that. Yes. He goes to Canada. And it's when he's like on the train with those like guys that have like duck foie gras in their pocket and stuff, but are talking about like maple syrup crime chains, and they're like, you gotta hide your maple syrup. The families are really cutthroat. I love the talk of like Canadian crime, because it's not something that you think about.
No,
but that was like one of my favorite parts of that show, is when those Canadian guys are just like, listen, get on this train, eat this foie gras. We're gonna tell you about like the maple syrup crime scene. And I think about it all the time. So I digress from Galentine.
In this book, they're dealing more with prescription painkillers.
Love that. That too.
Maybe not maple syrup, but there are some similar elements, and there's some interesting elements in that one also. That's like kind of the culture clash between the Anglo, like very, very English Anglo, people of New England, and I guess racism against the French speakers and the French Canadians who came down into Maine in the 19th century, and have kind of their own community. And there's a lot about like maintaining the language and maintaining the French culture. Yeah. So very unexpected, as a Texan who has not had contact with that particularly. Right. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated by stuff like that, because we have different culture clashes. I think that we are, in tune with.
Yeah, so. I love New England, and I love Montreal. Like, I never thought of that being a clash.
No, never.
They're both lovely.
Certainly not. All right, so that's what we're reading. Yeah. I've finished both of those. I've started now. I'm reading a Mary Kay Andrews, because sometimes I think when things get a little too intense, then I like to just read a Mary Kay Andrews book where like somebody's in love and somebody gets murdered, somebody has an emergency appendectomy, and then it like cleanses me, and then I go back into reading I've been reading a lot of Stephen King. Which does not fall under the powerful women strand, by the way, because there's like not a single powerful woman.
I always need a palate cleanser after those.
100%.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way after the Babs Dionne book, and so right now I'm listening to an audiobook that's like Alton Brown's memoir, not memorial. He's very much with us.
He's certainly alive.
Very alive. But right now he's talking about, I just started it last night, but obviously it's funny. It's Alton Brown from the Food Network, and talking about his weird childhood flavor combos that he enjoyed. So,
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, so good. And such a good palate cleanser.
Yes. Perfect. All right. One of the books that I think we should bring up, first, because I think both of us have read it and we're excited about it, that was on the list, is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy.
Yes.
Or is it McConaghy? Am I saying it wrong?
Well, I don't know. So I was thinking about that as I drove here, and I was like, is it McConaghy because she's Australian?
Right.
Do we just say McConaghy because we're Texans?
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to figure that out. But we were both super excited that book had showed up on the list, because I loved that book. I thought it's super dark. And so if you haven't read it, basically this woman washes up onto shore, and she's being really kind of like nursed back to health by this family. And she's learning a lot about this family who's living alone on this island. There were other people with them. They're trying to kind of protect this entire plant species. And she learns a lot about the family, but there's also a lot they're learning about her, because she has she didn't just watch up. It was intentional that she was there, and she ends up being like a very, very powerful character. Mm-hmm. But I loved it. I mean, it certainly, it reads dark. Like, it reads dark and rainy.
It does. Mm-hmm. And it's set on a very remote, like, research base at an island somewhere, I want to say it was south of Australia, because it's pretty close to the, getting closer to the South Pole, and it's, there's definitely a major environmental components. And it looks like Talia, if this is the book she means, she did not have the same love of it. But you know, for every book their reader is what they teach us on library school. So I really enjoyed this one too. There's like a palpable anxiety as you're reading it, because you know there are no coincidences in this story.
Right.
That everything is there for reasons that you haven't figured out yet.
Yeah. And Talia, I don't know if you feel this way, and it could be, I think one of the things that I struggled with that took me a while to like this book is the characters are not incredibly likable. Mm-hmm. Like, they are not written likable. Sometimes you're like, okay, they're doing these certain things, but I can find good qualities in them. And like, these characters are hard to like. So I don't know if you felt that way, but I think I kind of like walked through the book feeling that way about them.
They're tough people, because of the life and the place that they've chosen to be in, and the kind of people who are drawn to that. So they're all kind of rugged and independent, and the sort of people, the personalities you would expect to find in a book about like the Old West.
Yeah,
they're very that kind of pioneering loner mentality.
Yeah, and she tends to write like that. I mean, I see it we have the same book on our list, which is Once There Were Wolves.
Yes. So good.
Yes, which is another one that apparently we are really into, like nature thrillers, environmental thrillers.
I love an environmental thriller. Yeah.
So I enjoyed that one as well. I put that on kind of like if you want to read about nature and survival, and you don't want to read Hatchet, then read Hatchet really traumatized me as a child, just to say, because the pilot like gets gas and then has a heart attack, and so as a child I thought that's like what would happen to me. Yeah. So I've moved to other nature books. I can't read Hatchet anymore.
Yeah. So once There Were Wolves is about two sisters who go to Scotland to one is a research biologist, I guess, and it definitely has issues of there's a murder in the town. Everybody, of course, looks to the outsider because that's what they do, and especially when the outsider is a biologist who's trying to save a predator that potentially threatens their livelihoods, because they're sheep farmers in Scotland. So, really interesting themes of kind of humans in the wilderness and trust of outsiders, but also trust between men and women, because there is a romantic component of that one, and no one has it easy in Charlotte McConaghy's books.
Never.
But they're really good, and the writing about the nature and the animals, I think, is really nicely done. And I remember I listened to Once There Were Wolves as an audiobook, and I remember it really viscerally because I was like walking my dog at River Legacy Park, so I'm like in the woods with this super non-wolf because she's a corgi, and it's like, oh, you short wolf, and walking her in these woods and really thinking about like wolves and the wilderness, and I'm in a very watered down version of it in the moment. Yeah. Is this a book for one of the book clubs? It hasn't been, but I think it certainly could be. We'd have to see if we can get the right kind of licensing for it, where we can get lots of copies of it at the same time. But it was very good, and I think it's more contemplative.
Yes.
Than Dark Shore.
Well, and I think that one of my favorite things about her books is that she writes really poignant stories about siblings. So we've talked about this plenty. I am very, very close to my sister, like hyper bonded with my sister. So I love books about siblings. And I love the way she writes the relationships between siblings in both of those books.
Yeah.
I think it's just really beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm an only child, so I don't have that in my personal life, but I can tell when it's well written because I understand sibling relationships better from reading those. So
yes.
It's a really specific way, where we talk about when you read fiction, you get to experience other lives, and I get to experience just a snippet of what it's like to have siblings. And it's very different. So it's interesting. Yeah. Where do we go from there?
Well, okay, so I'm going to move on from nature. I'm sticking with the strong woman theme, but have you read Anita de Monte Laughs Last?
I have not.
It's by Xochitl Gonzalez. I fully recommend it. So it's like a lot of commentary about culture and about art. So it's about an artist named Anita de Monte. She dies in the 80s. She falls out of a window. And then her legacy is like kind of fading. And so you're set in two different times. It's like the 80s, you're seeing her living her life, and then also kind of the late 90s with her husband, her widowed husband. And you're just like kind of learning about their relationship and like how she is a really talented and really worthy artist who is kind of being erased by the men in her life. And also at the same time, she comes back as a bat and is tormenting him. So it's like, I wasn't expecting it at all. I was like, this is great. I love it. And then suddenly I got to this chapter and I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, she's a bat. And she's like a spirit, and she's come back to kind of like for her reckoning, which I love. I love a book where somebody comes back and gets revenge.
Yes.
It is so good. And it's like chaotic. You read it in your head. I was like, oh, they're screaming. Like, you read it like a screaming voice. It's even the cover is like this bright pink and neon yellow. It's chaotic, but so good. And just like, so, it's just like a really powerful story about this really great artist.
Well, now I know what I am picking up when I finish with Alton.
Yes.
And his weird food.
Yes. Once you've gotten that palate cleanser, that's what you need. Because it's just so good.
I love that. I think, let's see, where should we go after that? So I had another one that was sort of I don't know, related to a few of these, but I feel like this will be a kind of a good connection. So one of my others that I had on my list for today is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga. I'm going to mangle this last name because it is Polish and it has a lot of consonants. Tokarczuk. If you speak Polish and can correct me, please do, because I'm very open to learning. But it's about this older woman in this remote Polish village, and we know women of a certain age kind of become invisible. So she's just out and like outside this village, kind of doing her thing, studying astrology, translating William Blake poetry into Polish, as one does, and she cleans houses because it's kind of a vacation community, and she's got this reputation for being like like a kind of a cranky crone, and she likes animals better than humans. In another, this is such a trope, but like someone turns up dead, and then all these other bodies start showing up, and of course everyone looks at her. So it's kind of a whodunit, and kind of it has some overtones of like Baba Yaga and things like that that maybe some of us aspire to as we age. I think being out in the woods translating William Blake sounds pretty good. I mean,
sounds wonderful.
With animals, I'm in. Mm-hmm. Count me in. But it's a really atmospheric novel. It just has like a really strong vibe. It's not a lot of detail, it's a lot of vibe, and you have to fill in some blanks for yourself. But it's a real thinker, but you also feel it, and it sounds like it has a kinship with our Bat Lady.
Yes, Anita.
Yes, Anita.
Mm-hmm. It also gives me Thursday Murder Club vibes, that. I love the Thursday Murder Club. That whole series is so good. But it's kind of the same thing where they're living in that retirement community, and they're all but forgotten in a lot of ways, and then they end up solving all these great mysteries, and also you learn these backstories about them, that they're just like these complete badasses. They're so cool. They've done so much cool stuff. And so I love stories like that kind of go in that direction.
I have one that goes extremely in that direction. So someone had recommended on Instagram, let me find that title, The Girl in His Shadow by Audrey Blake, which is about, I'm not sure what century it's in, probably 19th century would be my guess, kind of historical fiction about a woman who works for this surgeon, and ultimately she's a better surgeon than he is. But of course, nobody thinks that, because she's a woman, and she's torn between, basically revealing herself to be amazing and getting in trouble for it, or being quiet about how amazing she is. Which made me think of a book that we did read we read this for the Books and Brews book club a few years back, but it's called Killers of a Certain Age by Deanne Rayborn. It's a thriller about these retired female assassins. They're all in their 60s, and they are forced out of retirement because the agency that they had worked for to begin with. So think Charlie's Angels and the shadowy organization that they worked for. That organization is actually the one out to get them, because they know too much, and they realize that the organization is at risk because they're doing some extra shady things, and these are the women who know all their secrets. The organization is called the Museum. And it follows the four women, and so they get sent on this cruise, and it turns out like it's a murder cruise. And they're able to totally flip the script on the Museum, and it's a romp. It's girl power for women in for women of a certain age, but they're all powerful and smart, and just think like a bunch of Helen Mirrens on a cruise ship with knives and knowledge of explosives. And if that's what you're into, as it should be, because it was really good, that's Killers of a Certain Age.
I was imagining that as a movie, and was like, yes. I want to watch that so badly.
Yes.
Anything that starts. So if I flip over a book to read a synopsis and it's like, invited to a remote island, invited to a special cruise, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read that, because somebody's getting killed. It's very, I don't know if, and I couldn't tell you who wrote it now because it's kind of off the top of my head, but there was a book that was really popular when I was a high school librarian called Sweet. And it was about these people that were invited on this cruise to test this new artificial sweetener that was supposed to help you lose weight. And essentially then they were all being killed. And like my high school kids went nuts. I went nuts for it. Like I would recommend it to every kid who was like, I don't know what to read. And it's like,
Sweet.
Killer Cruise. Read this Killer Cruise book about, killer aspartame. So it was, and as a Diet Coke lover, I felt really connected to it. There we go. But I loved that one.
That sounds good.
Yeah. And then I have another one that I've, like I said, I was a high school librarian, so I read a lot of young adult for quite a while. I still do. But I read one recently called The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. And it's essentially about when girls turn 16, they have what they call their grace year, where they have to go live alone for a year and get rid of their magic. So essentially like the power, the witchy power that women can hold over men, they have to like go out into the forest and get rid of it. And it's just like super cutthroat. They're like living in fear. It's all of these like 16-year-old girls put together. It's very dystopian. It's very like, it's like Hunger Games, but it's just a bunch of 16-year-old girls thrown into the woods together, which is like, Ooh. I think my nightmare.
Lord of the Flies high school girl edition.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Brutal.
And there's another one that's actually, there's a book by Libba Bray called Beauty Queens that is Lord of the Flies. It's a bunch of beauty queens that crash onto an island and then they like start killing each other.
Oh my.
So that was The Grace Year by Kim Liggett, is the one where the girls have to like, they're basically forced out to get rid of their magic. And then that other one is Beauty Queens by Libba Bray, and it's another one where like a plane crashes and they're just a bunch of beauty queens on an island together. If you're a fan of Lost, you will like either of those. I am a big fan of both of them.
I love Lost, so that sounds fascinating.
Yes, yeah. I mean, and now we're back to like stranded, lonely island. Like I think that's another theme for us now. It's like on an island alone in nature. Everything kind of goes back to
with Hello Kitty.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see what else do we have on our list today.
There were what were some other ones that we got?
There was the Margaret Atwood memoir, Book of Lives, a memoir of sorts by Margaret Atwood. They came out in 2025,
which is so exciting.
Oh, yes.
I love her.
I haven't read it, but I love her, and I'm really excited to read that. Oh, you should read Sentient Comic Book. It's like Lord of the Flies with AI. Oh,
yep. Yeah. I'm adding that to my list. We're talking about AI so much now that I'm like, I got to start reading like spooky AI stuff.
Yes.
Really I feel like to get myself in the right mindset, gotta start reading. It's and then there's a bunch of AI movies now. Well, there's the movie The Companion, which is about like the girlfriend that's like the robot. Anyway, there's so much good. I'm adding that to my list.
I bet a lot is getting written right now.
Oh yeah.
I bet give it to like Christmas, and I bet there's just like a publishing explosion of dystopian AI.
So good.
Yes.
I feel like we were getting it. We've been getting it in small spurts for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
But people were like, "Hey, it's coming."
Yeah.
And now it's happening.
Well, I think it was about the ills of and dangers of social media, and it'll go a level. Yeah, soon AI science fiction will become history books. It's true.
It's so true.
It's so true. And like with the speed that science and technology and publishing now move at, I think it'll be 2026, right? That'll be our topic. So I'm sure Margaret Atwood will have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about this book, but I do have it in my TBR, and I have to be in just the right mood for a memoir. But when I am, I eat them up. So I'm excited about that one. I made a list kind of based on that of memoirs and biographies of women that in my family we would refer to as tough old birds.
I love that.
On that note, I had Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher, which is hilarious and kind of dark and I mean, it's Carrie Fisher. Like,
yes.
It's amazing. But it's also, it has a darkness to it. But talk about a tough survivor. Carrie Fisher certainly was that. The problem I'm having reading all the time is others not knowing my references.
That's our life.
I feel that.
This is why we just hang out in these packs and wear the same clothes, because we can reference. I made a Twin Peaks reference yesterday, and everybody in our chat knew what it was, and those are the people you need in your life.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't know you were a Twin Peaks super fan. I'm a Twin Peaks super fan.
You love discovering things like that.
I do. Also in that genre, I also had Girl in a Band, which is, it's about a 10-year-old book now, but it's a memoir by Kim Gordon, the founder, one of the founders of the band Sonic Youth, which was, the amazing kind of post-punk, loud, hugely influential band. I got to meet Kim Gordon probably 20 years ago now. And, even though she's this like amazing, like fashionable, tiny, like rock star, she still offered me a sandwich and some chicken. So
cool. I love it.
She's like the coolest mom ever. And yes, Twin Peaks soundtrack. Listen to it.
It's the ringtone.
So much.
It's the ringtone on my phone. I listen to Laura's theme all the time. Sometimes when I'm walking my dogs, I like to listen to Laura's theme because it makes them look really majestic as they're walking.
I love that.
Yes, try it. That or Lovely Rita by the Beatles. Either one will really, your dog will look cool. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So.
And then my final one of those was Full Bloom, The Art and Life of Georgia O'Keeffe by Hunter Philp. She was I don't think she's there anymore, but she was a curator at the Smithsonian Archives of American Art. This is one of those random books I picked up in the airport. So I was just like kind of trapped in the Albuquerque airport and delayed. And this was before Libby, really. Mm-hmm. And so I bought this book, and it was so good. And man, Georgia O'Keeffe, what a tough,
so cool,
gristly, brilliant, amazing woman. She did it all. She lived forever. Yes. And had great fashion. And I was in Albuquerque because I had been on a trip to Ghost Ranch where she lived, and it was amazing. Like, talk about a landscape and a person, and I'm getting chills talking about it because I loved it so much. But those were the things that Margaret Atwood made me think of.
Yeah.
Like, who are these women that I really look up to for their perseverance, their humor, their wry look at life.
I love that. I thought about, and before I talk about my memoir, I have to respond to this comment where she said her daughters went to eat there and made a reference to it and they had no clue. I have a Twin Peaks t-shirt that I wear all the time, and the sweet young girl at the gym asked me if I worked there. And I said, "Ma'am, I'm a librarian." No, it's a TV show. And she was like, "Oh, should I check it out?" And I was like, "I don't know if you will like it, but yes, please."
But yeah, you should.
Yes, but of course you should.
You won't know till you try.
Oh, so good. But yeah, so I picked like a historical fiction book that is not a memoir, but it's kind of based on a memoir. It's called The Lost Story of Eva Fuentes. And it's about this woman, Eva Fuentes, who comes to America to teach, and she comes from Cuba, and it's like during the Cuban Missile Crisis and all of that, and so they were bringing kind of these Cuban teachers over to meet other American teachers and share their culture, and she writes this whole book about her experience. She falls in love with an American man, and it ends up he is not the man that he said he was, but it follows the stories of three different women. So Eva Fuentes, who wrote the memoir, and then a woman who in the 60s took the memoir and was keeping it for safekeeping, had it for safekeeping while others were fleeing Cuba. And then this woman in like 2019, 2020, who is trying to find the memoir. She's been hired to find the one copy of this book. So it's a lot of really cool Cuban history and just like this line of really strong women who are trying to preserve history. And so it's really, really cool. You feel like you're reading like a true memoir about this person because you're like living her entire life. And it's really based on a lot of things that actually happened. So they would arrange these dances for the Cuban teachers and the American teachers to come together to like socialize and meet each other, like these weird forced dance situations where they were all kind of like wallflowering it. And so then it took me down this rabbit hole where I couldn't stop reading about everything as like Cuba from like 1910 to today. Just like so fascinating, which I love. I love when something opens up a wild rabbit hole that I just fall down. Me too. Which is really almost everything. But but that's kind of where I went with the thinking about memoirs, is I really, really liked that. Like I love a historical fiction book that reads like a memoir. And me too. You know, I will say I read I did read, you know, James Patterson recently wrote a book about Marilyn Monroe that I hoped would read as a really like strong female account, and it did not. And so and he had like a female co-writer, so I thought, okay, certainly this is going to hit. But it just didn't hit the way I wanted it to. So I'm still on that search for one that kind of portrays her as like a really strong woman. But that can be kind of I'm always like on a search to find books like that. Like I want to see books about like Jackie Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe and Priscilla Presley that shows them for like these like powerhouse women. But it's touch and go. So you got to find the right one. Yeah, it's true. So there was a book that came in, it was recommended. It was The Widow by John Grisham. And I think you said you had read that one? I have. Yeah. So I, as it was a John Grisham super fan as a child and teenager, you know. I read some too. Yeah. I'd come to school and like, who's read the new John Grisham? And every other fifth grader was like, no. So I did read The Widow. I feel like I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's John Grisham going back to like what I feel is true John Grisham and not a story about baseball, which is fine. He can write about baseball, but I was like, come on, man. But it's a really, really good law story, and the woman in the story like kind of fronts as like, oh, I'm a widow and I need help, but she really doesn't. She's like strong and powerful, and this like male lawyer that she's working with is incredibly flawed and just kind of being drug along by her. A couple of them are, which we enjoy. Yes. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it had a lot of John Grisham elements from books that I think we remember when we were younger. So kind of that nostalgia. That's really funny. I don't think I've ever talked about that with anyone. I told my husband, and he thought it was weird that I went through like a big John Grisham summer. Oh yeah. Like maybe like the summer after 7th or maybe 8th grade, but I think 7th. Because it was the early 90s and we didn't have YA. No. Like we do now. And so if you were a reader in like 1991, you ended up with The Firm and Pelican Brief and all of those things, and I really enjoyed them. I plowed through them. I did the same thing. I was like, all right, now that I'm done with these, I guess I'll start with my mother's Sue Grafton, and I'll read like A is for Alibi and go all the way through. Because when you're a power reader in the 90s, what we were, I had finished all the other stuff. Yeah. So I was plowing through some John Grisham. But I did really enjoy it. Like I was really happy with it. My dad read it, and I'm like I loved that book. They did a good. I loved it. I just love to read. I'm like, I just want to read. I'm not, and so I'm not as critical. My dad is incredibly critical, and he even said he liked it. He was like, oh, I thought this was good, and I was like, okay, so then that means I'm giving it 5 stars. Like my dad gives it 2, and I'm like, 5 stars. Tough grader. Yeah. Oh, very much so. Yeah. But I really, I really enjoyed it. So, and I would say, I mean, not the strongest female character, but strong enough. And I liked that.
But there's not enough widows in literature that aren't victims.
Right.
So more power.
I know.
More power to her. Doing a thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like also I would be remiss if I didn't bring up my favorite book of all time, which I'm pretty sure I bring up every time I'm on this show. We're talking about female empowerment, so it really fits, which is The Awakening by Kate Chopin.
Yes.
And I love Kate Chopin. Like, I feel like she was doing it in 1899. She's doing it now. It's just so good. Like,
it is. It really is.
I think I've said this on this exact show before, but all of her stories, the woman is like, you know what? I don't want to do it. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And then she just walks away. She's like, I'm just going to walk into the ocean. I'm going to walk into this wheat field. Like, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But just do it. It's my favorite. And I really feel, especially now, and this has been kind of weighing on my mind, we've got the Wuthering Heights movie coming out. And like, I think Catherine's a really strong character in Wuthering Heights. I don't think she's going to be portrayed that way in the movie. She never is. No. It's always like, it gives Romeo and Juliet vibes through and through. The trailers are absolutely wild.
It is not a romantic story.
Oh, no.
At all.
No. And when my nephew was like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch Wuthering Heights," I was like, "Oh no, what is the trailer like?" It's wild. But the exciting part is, I feel like when a classic comes out, like kind of a remade classic, then it gives me like this platform to be like, "But have you read The Awakening? Have you read Desiree's Baby?"
That's true. That's true. I feel like I do that with Jane Eyre, where it's like, oh, you like Jane Eyre?
Have you read? Yeah, just, you gotta talk, if we're talking about female empowerment, we have to talk about The Awakening. It's just so good.
No, we do. Yeah. And it's one I sort of forget about, but I really enjoyed it. And we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, we read it in high school, and everybody in my high school class was like, this was boring. And at the end, I was like, that's the best thing I've ever read in my entire life. Like, I was so into it. And I have referenced it since I was 16. Just obsessed. So I was like, I gotta bring that one.
I'm trying to think, like, did we read any like major, anything with like a really great heroine in high school? Like, what classics? I think I read Jane Eyre just on my own because nerd. Maybe like Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
Right.
Yeah. We read a whole cycle of Thomas Hardy, and I was like the only one who liked it.
Yeah. We didn't get a ton of like strong female characters. I think that's they're seeing that more now. Yeah. In literature, especially because there's a whole YA string of YA. We have Sarah J. Maas, and we have people like, that are writing these really strong female characters. But we didn't get a lot of that. We kind of had to search for it.
It's true.
Which I think is why we're so excited about it now. Like, we were losing our minds over the list as it was coming in, because we were like, books about ladies!
So just know, if you on Wednesday, if you see, that Instagram post up in like the top section in like the reels, asking, what are you reading? What do you recommend? We really do absolutely read those and respond to them on this show right here. And with our own flavor and whatever, but we do read those and we do get really excited.
I actually added one to my list, and it is called, is it Spellshop? Was it Spell Song or Spell Shop?
Shop.
It's essentially this woman who has like a sentient spider plant, and like they're friends, and she's a witch, and it's like it felt to me like cozy, witchy romance, which made me think of the X-Hex, which was really popular a couple years ago. Yeah. I love stuff like that. I instantly checked it out. Like, the minute I read the synopsis for it, I was like, oh oh, I'm reading this.
Yeah.
It's going to be the next book I read. It's bumped all the way up on my list because I have to read it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading the description for that one because it wasn't one I was familiar with, and I think that was the one that was described as something cottagecore. Yes. And I was like, yes, please.
I love cottagecore. I took a test once to see what core I was, and it said I was goblin core, which
I see that.
That feels pretty. But I feel like if I wasn't goblin core, I would be cottagecore. Like there's a part of me that tries to be cottagecore, but I'm more goblin. But
I need to take this test.
Yes, I'll have to send it to you.
I don't know what my core is.
I know, like
there's a realm of cottagecore, but
yes,
there's
something else.
There's other stuff in there.
Could be goblin.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be lasers. I don't know.
Yeah. You know.
All right. Well, we've got about 3 minutes left. What would you like to talk about that's happening in the library system?
There's so much cool stuff happening right now. So one of my favorite things that's happening is our Lunar New Year celebration. Yes. You guys, they're incredible. If you haven't seen the photos that we have online yet, you've got to look at them. Our Lunar New Year celebration has really kind of started smaller a couple years ago and has grown into something incredible. And it just makes me really, really excited.
Me too.
Yeah. And then we also have a musical artist that will be at Clifford Crossing. And that is on Saturday.
Free Valentine's Day date.
I mean, look, you don't have to go pay any money.
No.
Go listen to some good music. They're an Amplify 817 artist.
And lovely people.
Yes.
Just lovely. I will second the recommendation for the Lunar New Year. I went on Saturday to the celebration at Northwest. They had a bunch of activities. They also, at that one, they had a performance by Goisagi, which is a Japanese taiko drum ensemble, also an Amplify 817 artist. It was amazing. I wish I had any rhythm because it was so cool. They're going to be playing again and doing a little workshop at the Vivian J. Lincoln Library on Friday the 20th. So if you ever wanted to just like have a no pressure opportunity to learn some percussion and like touch the instruments and play them, it's an all ages opportunity. So bring yourself, bring your kid. Should be very cool. I'm making a point to be there because it was so good.
I was about to say, you'll definitely see Jana there. Because,
yes.
Her kiddo is obsessed.
My kiddo is obsessed. Mm-hmm. We had to buy the CD. We checked out a drum pad kit from the library for him to try out and see if he likes it before I buy him a bunch of stuff. And we did drum lessons on YouTube last night. So we might have a little musician thanks to Goisagi.
I was about to say, you might have a drummer on your hands.
I might, yeah.
I love that.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Lots of cool music happening right now at the library. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
And then let's see what day, it's the 12th. So in about 2 weeks on March 1st, I cannot believe March is 2 weeks away.
I can't either.
That's crazy. But March 1st kicks off our spring reading challenge using the Beanstack app. It will be fun. There will be prizes. There will be wildflower seeds and fun activities and book prizes and all kinds of good stuff. So that starts March 1st. And if you follow the library socials, you'll see lots of references to that and links and things you can follow. So it has been a pleasure, Miss Jenny.
It has. I know, y'all, we had a rough start. And listen.
Whew, technology.
We try. Sorry, Lynn. We love you.
We love you, Lynn. Yes. Speaking of women persevering together.
Yes, we've done it.
Yeah. So next week, Lynn will be back, and hopefully the Instagram gods will smile upon her, and she will have an easier time connecting than we did today. But it has been an absolute joy. Thank you, Miss Jenny. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you around. And we should do the Lynn wave.
Oh yes. Bye.
Bye.